Hello and welcome to Kirkuson as we bring you highlights of the International Sunflower Meeting. It's a thrilling finale to the season and there's some tremendous racing in prospect. The reason? It's very simple. The lineup is real quality. Top of the bill, Flying Scot Steve Hislop leads the cross-channel invasion. Riding a Yamaha, he's been a Sunflower winner before. David Jeffrey's year included hat-trick successes at the Northwest and in the Isle of Man. It's the Yorkshireman's debut at Kirkeston. Ian Duffus is another first-timer on this circuit. Jeffrey's teammate on the V&M Yamaha team, he will be another front-runner. John McGuinness is the new British 250 champion, but look out for him as a big bike contender on a 500 Honda. Another British champion is Darren Barton, but he'll have a strong local challenge in the very competitive 125 class. So just a sample of the top riders in show then, as this meeting makes a return to Kirkeston after an absence of 6 years. And by tradition, whatever the weather, the fans always turn up in force to enjoy and to savour the last short circuit event of the year. Let's take you round the County Down circuit. Local rider Michael Swan does the honours.
From green light, we're off up to Deaders Corner, about third gear, 70 mile an hour in first lap. Then accelerate on up to Colonials, and back down to second gear, approximately 50-60 miles per hour. Through Colonials, right, then left, accelerate on up to Fisherman's, back down into second gear, and slightly faster, about 60 miles per hour, through Fisherman's, on up to the chicane, back down into second again, right and left through the chicane, then onto the back straight, and then up through right through the gearbox to top gear, approximately 150 miles per hour. And on the brakes, back down into first for the hairpin bend, round the hairpin and head towards the start and finish again.
We're ready for some 125 action. In pole position, number 95, Phelim Owens. But surprisingly, the British 125 champion, Darren Burke, is on the third row. Alan Drysdale commentates.
Away they go then, down toward Jedders for the first lap. Off 12. The Stonyford Concrete 125 race, and that looks like Steve Patrickson who's going in the lead in the blue machine, but no, there's a man goes down the inside of him there. Up they come to Colonial 1 for the first time. Phelim Owens there, the man in pole position, drops back into fifth position, but cutting his way back through. The leader there, Laverty, runs a little bit wide, so Paul Robinson goes through into the lead. Paul Robinson in the lead as they come across into Fisherman's with Darren Lindsay in second position. Then it looks like Michael Laverty in third, and Phelim Owens, I think, has dropped. He's now back up into fourth position. Down they come to the chicane for the first time. Number 18, Paul Robinson, the 24-year-old in the lead, the man who was 12th in the British Championship, but the yellow flag's flying, so there's a follower there at the chicane, but out of the chicane they come down towards, thinking it is that Darren Lindsay there may have gone missing. It looks as though it may have been Darren who dropped there at the chicane. Yes, that is Darren Lindsay, number 55, the man who was second fastest in practice, unfortunately out, but the leaders now on their way down to the hairpin, shortly about to come through to complete the opening lap. And in the lead, it's number 18, Paul Robinson, goes through. In second position, it's number 5, Steve Patrickson. Steve Patrickson there, followed through by Laverty in fourth. Owens is in fifth, and the man in third at the moment. But Paul Robinson goes through Colonial 1. Patrickson there in second position. Paul Robinson coming through. Kenny Robinson it is in third position on the Appleyard machine. Partly the British champion there, Darren Barton, but it's Paul Robinson in front. Kenny Robinson goes through in second position. No relation. The rest of the field stream through the chicane there, through the left-hander, out onto the back straight. 18, Paul Robinson, well tucked down as he comes down towards the hairpin. The battle on for second position, streaking up the inside there. That's still Kenny Robinson. Then Steve Patrickson in third position. Steve Patrickson, who finished second in the British Championship, the elder statesman here in 125 races, 33 years of age, a man who has an enviable record of having finished in every race in the British 125 Super Cup for the past 3 years. And Patrickson there, as I speak, goes through into second position, making his first appearance here in the Sunflower at Kirkeston. Has previously competed at Bishop's Court, but Kenny Robinson back through into second position. Kenny Robinson, who won the 125 Clubman Series last year and then went over to England to join the Cullen Appleyard team, managed by the former British champion Robin Appleyard. And what a ride this is from Kenny Robinson. Patrickson behind him in third. Phelim Owens in fourth position as they come down towards the chicane. Remember, out in front it's still Paul Robinson heading down towards the hairpin. Robinson has got a fair size of a break in 125cc racing turns, but look at the dice is going on behind. Out of the slipstream they come. The man in 6th tries to go through, does go through into 3rd position. Incredible stuff on the brakes there from number 9. It looked like Alan Glasgow will check that as they come through, up to complete the lap, but 18, Paul Robinson goes through, 3 laps completed. Michael Labbard, whose father Mickey was a leading contender in Irish road racing in the 1970s, former winner of the Leinster Trophy, now has 2 sons out riding, and would you believe another perhaps wins on the way to follow them. But rider riding wide there at the Hairpin was indeed Michael Labbard, as he drops a couple of places there. But across the line it's Paul Robinson, and Paul Robinson has been caught by Kenny Robinson and Darren Barton. Mikey Laverty in 4th, Steve Patrickson in 5th, and Tim Stott now up into 6th position. So Tim Stott there, the rider who passed Phelim Owens, the Welshman now living in Belfast. What a ride he's having this year in the Sunflower Trophy races. But here we are now, 33, Kenny Robinson goes through into Fisherman's. Out now on lap 7 of 12, the race leader Paul Robinson at the chicane, into the right-hander, into the left-hander, cranks it through there. Kenny Robinson through 2nd, Barton 3rd. The rest of the field stream through. There in 4th and 5th position is still Michael Laverty, machine number 24, the yellow and streamlining there, yellow on the top, red on the bottom, the familiar colours of Miller Racing. But at the Hairpin, still Paul Robinson in the lead, and that's Phelim Owens. Phelim Owens' is machine there, and it looks as though 2 riders have gone down, but Phelim Owens there is off. The MTC communications machine being wheeled away. The marshal's looking a little bit concerned there, just as Phelim there being attended to by the first aid and medical personnel. But back with the dice now for 2nd position, and still that's Darren Barton who's gone through into 2nd ahead of 33 Kenny Robinson as they go across towards Fisherman's, and the red flag is out, so the race has been stopped, unfortunately due to Phelim Owens' accident out there on the circuit. David Kirkwood there, the flag marshal, with the red flag up. So the race has been stopped on the 8th lap. So Phelim Owens there, having been attended to by the expert hands of the MCI medical personnel, been lifted on the stretcher into the ambulance to be removed to hospital, and hopefully he is not too seriously injured. The riders start there in the positions in the restart here at the end of the previous part of the race, not in their practice times from this morning. The times from the 2 parts of the race will be added together by the timekeepers, and a composite result will be produced. So waiting there for the clerk of the course, Alan Farr, just to give the signal that he's happy for the riders to get away for the balance here over 4 laps. Alan Farr moves out to the right, getting ready for the off. Away they go. 4 laps the distance, and that looks like Michael Laverty, number 24 in the Miller machine, making the best start. But 18, Paul Robinson, the Connolly transport machine, coming round the outside as they head down towards Colonial for the first time. It's Paul Robinson in the lead, Michael Laverty in 2nd position, Barton and Robinson coming through there in 4th and 5th position. But a rider there in a monster made a great start from the 3rd row, it looked like to me, on the red machine. We'll try and identify that as they come up towards the chicane. But here's the race leader, Paul Robinson, goes through the right-hander at Fisherman's. 24, Michael Laverty from Toombridge behind him. Then it's number 3, Darren Barton, into the right-hander at the chicane. Then the left-hander. The rest of the field stream through there. All action on this opening lap, coming down to the Hairpin, getting the machines up into 6th gear, up to about 130, 135 miles per hour in these 125cc machines. Then hard on the brakes as they come slow down to about 40, 50 miles per hour into 1st gear for the Hairpin. Accelerate out of the Hairpin. And still in the lead there, Paul Robinson, as they come up to complete the lap. It's Paul Robinson from Michael Laverty in 2nd. Darren Barton almost level pegging with him there as he head down towards Detterstip. Then behind him, it's number 33, Kenny Robinson, going through. And that may be Mark Lunny there in 5th position. I'm not sure, say the red machine, but this is 33, Kenny Robinson, going through on the inside of number 24, Michael Laverty. As they go through, it's 18. Paul Robinson going through. Fisherman's, Paul Robinson through Fisherman's, just coming down towards, and Darren Barton closing in, the British champion of 1999, 97 and 95. Seems to win it in the odd years. But Darren Barton, the man nicknamed the Chief, used to be the Flying Flea, but he certainly is now beginning to put the pressure on Paul Robinson. The Appleyard machines coming down in behind Paul Robinson. Number 3, Darren Barton. Number 33, Kenny Robinson, teammates. Then it's Michael Laverty in 4th position. Coming up now to complete the second of the 4 laps that this part of the race has been run off. Up they come across the line, and still 18, Paul Robinson in the lead. Number 3, Darren Barton in second. Kenny Robinson in third, followed by 24, Michael Laverty, and it is number 69, Mark Lunny, the 24-year-old from Belfast, in 5th position. Mark Lunny, he finished 10th in the first part of the race, so he's going to boost his performance overall. But the leaders now going through Colonial 1, Colonial 2, on the run over the Fisherman's, up into 4th gear, then down to 2nd, up to about 100 miles per hour, brake for about 40 miles per hour, and then accelerate up 60, 75 miles per hour on the run down to Sugarcane. Paul Robinson still leads. Darren Barton sits up behind the screen there, trying to come through on him. On the 3rd here off the 4 laps, and Kenny Robinson in there in 3rd position. Darren Barton, remember, he finished 3rd first time out, but just 2 seconds down, so he would have to get ahead of Paul Robinson by about 2 seconds to take this race overall. Up the inside he comes at the Herman, tremendous move. Darren Barton is through in the inside of Paul Robinson, but remember, he has to pull away. I make it by about 1.72 of a second to take this race overall, so we'll try and judge that on the camera, but it's going to be a matter for the timekeepers to sort out. Out onto the last lap they go. It's Darren Barton from Paul Robinson through the left-hander at Deaders. Kenny Robinson behind them in 3rd position. But going into Colonial 1, Darren Barton superb on the brakes. He pulls 10, 15 yards there on Paul Robinson. Through the left-hander, across towards Fisherman's, the tricky right-hander, drop back down into 2nd gear, then round there about 50 miles per hour, a short burst of power down to the chicane here on the last lap in this first 1:25 race of the afternoon. And Darren Barton, the British champion, leads. Paul Robinson is 2nd, but my guess is Robinson is still close enough at the minute to take the overall victory. Kenny Robinson in 3rd position as they head down towards the hairpin for the last time. Michael Laverty in 4th spot. Up to the hairpin they come for the last time. Paul Robinson goes up the outside, but surely Darren Barton takes it on the brakes. Ken Barton gets stopped. Kenny Robinson comes through. The Appleyard teams go 1 and 2. Out of the hairpin they come, and up to the line is who's it going to be? At the line it's surely going to be Darren Barton, Robinson, but which one is 2nd? It looked like Kenny got it to me. Paul Robinson in 3rd. The positions are at the end of the 2nd leg, but what's it going to be overall?
So on aggregate time then, a tremendous day for the local boy Paul Robinson. He takes the win from the British champion Darren Barton in 2nd place. 3rd was Kenny Robinson, followed by Michael Laverty, Steve Patrickson and Tim Stott. Paul, you just made it.
Yes, it was pretty close in the end. I had us waiting for a long time, but more than happy to get it. It's the first one ever at the Sunflower.
The first leg went very well for you.
Yeah, I got a good start, and I pulled a wee bit of a gap in the first couple of laps, and I kept an eye on my lap board, and it just stayed the same, so I knew that I didn't have to push a lot harder. So then the red flags come out, and I was thinking, is the race over? Are they going to call it from the previous lap? And they decided to run the 2nd leg. So but I knew I only had to stay in tow with Darren and Kenny to win overall, so it worked out pretty well for us.
Well, the qualifying times for this senior race have been very fast indeed. Steve Hislop there in pole position, David Jeffries 2nd, John McGuinness 3rd, and Ian Duffus 4th. And the front row made up by a 250, which is Adrian Coates. So here's the front row of your grid. John McGuinness, David Jeffries, and there's the pole sitter, Steve Hislop on a Yamaha R7. Who can stop him this afternoon? Unofficially broke the lap record in qualifying as the riders watch for the lights to change to green, and the senior race is go in the James A.S. Finley senior race. And John McGuinness with an absolute flyer into Deaders corner. The man on the 500cc Honda getting the better of Steve Hislop in the Colonial corner now. 2nd gear, about 60-70 miles an hour, and Hislop closing right up on John McGuinness, flipping it out of Colonial in the Fisherman's corner. So Hislop tucked in behind John McGuinness. Very quick corner indeed. Hislop right in behind McGuinness, tries to get past him down into the chicane. Well, Hislop with ease gets past John McGuinness. That is a move of real class there. Not a problem for Steve Hislop, who stormed into the lead on the first lap of this senior race. Hislop leads, McGuinness 2nd, Jeffries 3rd, Duffus is 4th, and Michael Swan, the local man, up in 5th position. Well, I can't see anybody stopping Steve Hislop in this senior race. What a great competitor he is. 2 Northwest wins, 11 TTs, 2 Ulster Grand Prix, and 5 Sunflower wins. But here's your order. Hislop is first, McGuinness second, Jeffries third, Duff is fourth on the other V&M machine. Then it's Michael Swan and Adrian Archibald in 6th place. Good start by Adrian Archibald. Well, just look at the style of Steve Hislop. Smooth as silk, a great rider indeed, a really accomplished rider, and he is just blasting out from the start. Lap 2, and look at the lead he's opened up already over John McGuinness. Jeffries third, Duff is fourth, Swan fifth, Archibald is 6th. So on to the back straight. There is David Jeffries in 3rd place at the minute. He's on the Yamaha R1 in behind the 500cc Honda. So McGuinness in 2nd place. Jeffries tucked in behind him, and this is where the real racing could be done in this race, because Steve Hislop is leading by a country mile. Hislop leads, McGuinness in 2nd, a 2.38 second advantage already. Jeffries is right in behind McGuinness though, and Duffus is down in 4th place. Along the back straight, right out to the white line, John McGuinness and David Jeffries. 7th lap. Jeffries still in 3rd, or is he? He's gone past McGuinness. Jeffries goes into 2nd place. Well, what a brave move that was through Colonial. Super move by David Jeffries. He's now in 2nd place. Well, the V&M rider gets past the Paul Bird team rider. So David Jeffries down to the chicane. What can McGuinness do along this back straight? Certainly he has the power to get close to him. So McGuinness, head buried behind the bubble, but David Jeffries is tucked down as well, pops up onto the brakes now, into the braking area. McGuinness right behind Jeffries. Both riders nice and smooth. You can see Steve Hislop is miles ahead of them both. On to the 8th lap goes David Jeffries. John McGuinness right behind him. John McGuinness, as I said, had a great season, and on this 500 as well. He won the Scarborough Gold Cup on this machine, and that was an excellent result for him. And McGuinness, as part of the Paul Bird team, will become an official Honda team next year. We'll do a lot of testing for them in the British and World Superbikes. Jeffries with a wheelie there, squeezing on the power. Now drops down through the gears, into the chicane, but McGuinness is right there. Well, let's see what McGuinness can do this time. Well, both men neck and neck. McGuinness right behind Jeffries. Will he be brave on the brakes and just slip up the inside of David Jeffries? Yes, he will. McGuinness gets past Jeffries. Excellent maneuver. Jeffries tries to come past McGuinness again. Both these men now coming across the finishing line. Jeffries right in behind McGuinness. Top speed through Debtor's Corner. That's about 135 miles an hour. And David Jeffries gets past McGuinness again. Oh, what a move that was by David Jeffries. A very, very brave move indeed. Now, Steve Hislop, and just look at that advantage. Look at the lead that Steve Hislop has. There's bike number 8, David Jeffries. He's in 2nd place. John McGuinness got entangled up there with Victor Gilmore as well, which means he'll not be able to make a challenge into the hairpin this time. So the back marker is proving very costly for John McGuinness, and David Jeffries opens up a wee bit of an advantage. So on to the last lap of this senior race. Steve Hislop leads. David Jeffries, bike number 8, is 2nd. 24, John McGuinness is in 3rd place. Jeffries, nice and smooth, right-hander into Colonial. He'll flip it left now and down towards Fisherman's. Looks like Jeffries has secured 2nd place here. But it's not even a contest as to who will win this race. Steve Hislop will take the race win. Super win for Steve Hislop. No one got near him. The Yamaha R7 does the business at Kirkeston, and the Yamaha R1 of David Jeffries takes second, and John McGuinness with an excellent third place. A large number of fans here came to see this man, one of the most accomplished riders around, there's no doubt about that. Wheelies for the fans and milks his moment. Here's your confirmation of the top 6 riders. Steve Hislop first, David Jeffries second, John McGuinness third, then it was Ian Duffus, good ride by Jason Griffiths in 5th, and the 250 of Hilton Hinks in 6th place.
Steve, as they say, you won that by the proverbial country mile.
Yeah, I didn't get as good a start, and John drove away well with the two-stroke. It drives well, but I passed him into the chicane, and I've just put my head down a little bit. But I had no idea how quick I was going because my lap time wasn't working. But I just looked back and I seen that it broke a fair bit. So nice race.
And you're just onto the Yamaha, first win on it. That's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice because realistically, I really worked hard to try and achieve a win at the end of the season for the team and everybody. And it's just nice to come here and if win in Ireland in front of. I still have a lot of fans here, so it's really nice.
Victory it was from the Skeen brothers in the first sidecar race. A little bit bumpy, the Kirkeston circuit, but not too bad, said Mick Skeen about his journey. Well, not too bad, I tell you what. Looks awful to me. Couldn't think of anything worse hanging out of a sidecar. That's through the chicane. The Hegartys right in behind the Skeens. Some super action here at Kirkeston so far. The first sidecar race taken by the Skeen brothers, and they take the checkered flag at the finish. And the presentation then for the sidecar race. The Skeen brothers on the top step of the podium, taking their 3rd win at Kirkeston and their medals. In 2nd place is the Hegartys, Sean Hegarty and Mark Hegarty in the Suzuki 1100. And in 3rd place it's Tony Baker and Scott Parnell.
Well, they're getting ready here for the second 250 race of the day. In the first 250, that was won by the British champion, John McGuinness. Will he be the man to look out for again? Let's see. On commentary, Stephen Watson.
Here are the qualifying times for the second junior 250cc race. Adrian Coates was the quickest man, but he has a bike problem and will not start from the front row. So it's John McGuinness who will be in pole position, then Simon Turner, Stephen Thompson and Hilton Hinks. So the riders ready for the off. 24 there is John McGuinness. He's in pole position, the winner of the first junior 250cc race. The riders look for the lights to change and they're away. Hilton Hinks got a flyer, but John McGuinness got an even better start. Hinks on bike number 10, but it's McGuinness, bike 24, who's into the corner first. Debtor's corner. Now it's down into Colonial. So Hilton Hinks in 2nd place. Let's see if he can make this race interesting and try and stay on the tail of John McGuinness. John McGuinness and Adrian Coates it was who did battle for the honours in the very first race. So let's hope McGuinness can't get away too far on his own and that the other riders can stay with him and make it an interesting race for him. And at the moment, Hilton Hinks is right there, the Waterford rider, British 250cc championship rider back in 1998. So you're 1, 2, 3. McGuinness leads, then it's Hinks. Simon Turner is in 3rd place. Down the back straight. And round the hairpin. John McGuinness, Hilton Hinks still with him. Then it's Simon Turner. Over the start-finish line for the first time. Bike 24, John McGuinness leads. He goes through. Then it's Hilton Hinks. 3rd is Simon Turner. 4th is Denver Robb, he started from the 2nd row. 4th is Andy Boyd, he was also in the 2nd row. And in 6th place there, Marty Nutt. Bike 88, Marty Nutt, riding Ian Locker's old 250 on loan from Honda Britain. So it looks like McGuinness and Hinks will duel for the honours in the second 250 race. McGuinness, the British 250cc champion, followed by Hinks, then it's Simon Turner, then it's Denver Robb. So along the back straight they go, top speed, into the braking area. McGuinness, then Hinks, Simon Turner, Denver Robb in 4th, Andy Boyd in 5th, and still Marty Nutt, Bike Idiot, in 6th place. Hinks right in the slipstream of John McGuinness. They tip it into Debtor's corner. Then it's on to Colonial. Back 3 gears into Colonial, brake as late as possible. Round the right-hander. Then they flip it up to the left-hander. Little kink there, up through the gears. And down into Fisherman's Corner. Very fast corner indeed, 70-80 miles an hour. Then they squeeze on the power until they reach here and break down into the chicane. Little flip round, just have to watch the bumpy surface there. So John McGuinness with Hilton Hinks in his slipstream. Well, he tried to go up the outside. It's a long way round the outside. Can't Hilton Hinks go past him? I don't think he can. McGuinness holds him off. Well, that was a very brave line indeed that Hilton Hinks tried there. But he has set his stall out. He's not letting McGuinness get away. On to lap 4. It's McGuinness from Hinks, from Turner, Robb, Nutt and Boyd. So Marty Nutt, good ride from him and Bike 88. Marty Nutt moves up to 5th place. Oh, little mistake there by Marty Nutt. Well, it wasn't actually. Yes, Marty Nutt it was. A little mistake by him. And a crash there. A crash there, a man down. Looks like Denver Robb. Denver Robb on bike number 52 slides off this Kirkuson circuit. Thankfully, he's okay. John McGuinness leads this race. Hilton Hinks is 2nd. On to lap 9 of the Junior 250cc Sunflower. Simon Turner 3rd. He's a good 6.5 seconds behind. And Hilton Hinks needs to keep on the pace, needs to keep in behind John McGuinness, and John McGuinness seems to be opening a little gap here. John McGuinness is definitely getting away from 2nd place man Hilton Hinks. Little twitch there. Oh, Hinks goes through. Hinks goes through. What happened to McGuinness there? Well, that seemed all too easy. Surely McGuinness has a problem. A mistake was definitely made by McGuinness. Yes, a problem McGuinness has. He's out of this race. Hilton Hinks can't see him. Looks under his arm. And John McGuinness will retire from this race. Wow, that's a shame. A shame for John McGuinness. He seemed to have it in the bag. He had just recorded the fastest lap, but it's off to the pits for McGuinness. So Hilton Hinks way out in front, on to lap 10. And Hilton Hinks leading this race. Well, in 1998, Hilton Hinks was making a good stab at the British 250cc Championship. He had a 4th place in Oulton Park, and then seemed to fall away a bit. He had an injury, but he's back with a vengeance this year, and his name keeps cropping up in some of the best short circuit meetings. On to the last lap of this Junior 250cc race. Hilton Hinks leads it. Simon Turner 2nd, a good 4.73 seconds behind, and then it's Marty Nutt. Can Marty Nutt close in on Simon Turner? That's the question. Well, it will be an excellent finish to the season for Hilton Hinks if he can secure this win, and an excellent 3rd place, it has to be said, for Marty Nutt as well. So Hinks into the chicane. To the left, squeezes on the power. Nutt is definitely closing in on Simon Turner. I don't think there's enough laps left for him though. We're on the last one, remember. Not enough time for Nutt to close in on Simon Turner. So Hinks round the hairpin for the very last time. He'll take the checkered flag, and yes, Simon Turner, he's a good 15 yards in front of Marty Nutt. So Hilton Hinks wins the Junior 250, Simon Turner takes 2nd, and Marty Nutt, excellent 3rd place for him. There's confirmation of the results. Hilton Hinks is 1st, Simon Turner 2nd, Marty Nutt 3rd, then it was Andrew Boyd, followed by Richard Britton and Ryan Farquhar.
Hilton, well done. It was a good dice until John McGuinness went out.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was just hanging in there with him. His bike is so fast, like it's hard to stay with him. He's a good rider too, like obviously, but I wasn't going to say no thanks when his bike broke down. So a win is a win, like, because we've had a tough year this year, and it's a new bike we have now, so we're happy enough now.
One of the best results this year for you?
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. We've struggled a lot this year, to be honest, but happy to be there now, all right.
Now we're waiting for the start of the feature event, the International Sunflower Trophy Race. The bikes are on their warm-up lap, and guiding us through to the checkered flag, Stephen Watson.
Well, let's have a look at the qualifying time. Steve Hislop there in pole position. Great time by him, over 3 miles an hour quicker than the current lap record. And Hislop, of course, won the senior race here this morning as well. David Jeffries in second position. He took second in that senior race. Then it's John McGuinness. He's on a 500cc Honda. I should say Hislop on an R7, Jeffries on a Yamaha R1, McGuinness on a Grand Prix 500. Then there's Ian Duffus. He's on an R1 as well. And Adrian Coates making up the front row on a 250cc Honda. Then we've got Rodney McCurdy, Michael Swan, Jason Griffiths and Hilton Hinks on a 250 machine as well. That's your first 9 riders for this Sunflower Trophy International race. So just let me bring you up to date on the tyre selection. Adrian Coates on the front is intermediate and rear intermediate. McGuinness has actually gone for wet tyres on the front and intermediates on the rear. Jeffries and Duffus both on wets at the front, and Michelin Supersport 600 tyres on the rear. Interesting choice by them. And then Steve Hislop, he's on intermediates front and rear, so should be an interesting choice. And Jeffries says he will wheelie if it dries up to try and save his front tyre. We can only wait and see what he means by that. Thankfully, the sun is beginning to come out here at Kirkeston, and we're ready for the Sunflower International Trophy race. The front row of your grid. There is Ian Duffus. He's on the front row, the Scotsman. Then it's John McGuinness on the Vimto bike. David Jeffries is second, and there he is, Steve Hislop in pole position. On the second row, it's McCurdy, Swan, Griffiths and Hinks. The riders are ready, engaging the gears. Eyes on the lights. They change and the riders are away. Another great start by John McGuinness. Takes a little look to his right-hand side. It's McGuinness who's first into Debtors' Corner for this Sunday Life Sunflower race. Just like the senior race, McGuinness takes the lead. Hislop sits in behind him, and the riders being very careful here. Remember, the track's still a little wet from that rain. The two V&M bikes are third and fourth. Well, it's actually Michael Swan in fourth place. Great start by him from the second row on the Yamaha R1. John McGuinness in first place. In behind him is Steve Hislop. How long will it be before Hislop goes past? So McGuinness, Hislop, Michael Swan in fourth. And up there in fourth place, looked like Hilton Hinks perhaps on the 250. I'm not sure, I'll have to confirm that. But it's John McGuinness down into the braking area with Steve Hislop sitting in behind him. McGuinness it is who leads as they come round to complete the first lap of this Sunday Life Sunflower International Trophy race. McGuinness head buried behind the bubble. Flat out down here, knock it back a gear. There's your top four after the first lap. John McGuinness leads, Steve Hislop second, David Jeffries third, Michael Swan fourth. Well, it's Richard Britton in fourth place. Good move by Jeffries. He goes past Steve Hislop into second. So Steve Hislop on the Yamaha R7 is relegated to third place. Down now into Fisherman's. David Jeffries with a big point to prove here this afternoon. Has concentrated on the roads this season, but really wants to move up to the British Superbikes next year. And no better man to pit his wits against than Steve Hislop. This is bike 24. He's your race leader, John McGuinness, followed by bike 8 on the V&M, David Jeffries. Then it's Steve Hislop. Then it's Michael Swan. And then it's Richard Britton. What a great ride from Richard Britton. So Richard Britton started on the fourth row of the grid. What a sensational start that is by the local man, Richard Britton. Super, super ride by him so far. So two local men, Michael Swan followed by Richard Britton. Round the hairpin, there's Adrian Archibald up in the thick of things as well. McGuinness it is who leads on lap 3. Followed by David Jeffries, he's right on his tail, and Jeffries goes through the Debtors' Corner. Or has he? Yes, he has. Oh, what a move. What a brave, brave move by David Jeffries. So McGuinness relegated to second. David Jeffries leads this Sunflower International race. Well, he's had a super season. 3 wins at the Isle of Man TT, 3 wins at the Northwest 200, 1 at the Ulster Grand Prix, and he has his sights set on the Sunflower Trophy win this afternoon. You can see the little wheelie there he promised us, just trying to save his tyres. Into the chicane. Steve Hislop still in third place. Remember, Hislop on intermediate tyres. Jeffries has a wet on the front and a Michelin Super Sport on the rear. So here's your top three. Into the hairpin. David Jeffries, it is the leads. Then it's John McGuinness. Then it's Steve Hislop. Who will it be in fourth place? It's Michael Swan, followed in fifth by Richard Britton. Well, he's having a great ride, Richard Britton. Into Detter's Corner, 135 miles an hour. A heart-stopping corner, that, and difficult with the windy conditions around this section. The bike's being blown around down there. McGuinness on the Vimto 500cc Grand Prix machine. He's had a couple of good scraps with David Jeffries this season already around Scarborough. McGuinness, the victor that day in the Gold Cup at Scarborough. Steve Hislop right in behind John McGuinness now. So McGuinness is under pressure from Steve Hislop. Hislop looking for that second place. Remember, it's David Jeffries who leads. Hislop right in behind John McGuinness. Excellent chicane. Right up the top speed now. A little wheelie from both men. Hislop tries to go up the outside of John McGuinness. Well, that's all too easy for Steve Hislop, isn't it? On the R7 Yamaha. Hislop on the Virgin R7 blasts into second place. Now, he's after Jeffries. Hislop's in second, McGuinness in third, and Jeffries out in front on the V&M machine behind Steve Hislop. A determined man now indeed. Detter's Corner, frightening corner. And the Virgin R7 Yamaha of Steve Hislop is on the charge. Took the first 6 laps very, very gently indeed. We're on to lap 7 now. Can David Jeffries hold off the challenge of Steve Hislop? Round Colonial, Hislop right in behind Jeffries again. They flip it out on the left-hander. Hislop looks behind him, no one near him. McGuinness is still third, remember. Michael Swan fourth, and Richard Britton in fifth place. Well, actually, Adrian Archibald moves up to fifth now. Britton has been relegated to sixth. The two Yamahas do battle here at Kirkeston. Out of the chicane, Steve Hislop behind David Jeffries. Top speeds here up to 160, 165 miles an hour. Hislop, can he get past this time? Well, Jeffries very brave on the brakes again. And into the hairpin, it's still the V&M man who leads over the Yamaha. The Virgin Yamaha of Steve Hislop. Across the start-finish line they go. On to lap 10. David Jeffries leads. Steve Hislop's in second. John McGuinness is in third place. Hislop still looking for a way through. On the break through Colonial, he tries a very, very brave move indeed, and through he goes. Steve Hislop, audacious move by him. And what a place to go past him. Steve Hislop hits the front of the Sunflower Trophy International race of Kirkeston. Excellent manoeuvre. And I can't see any way past for David Jeffries now. Well, this is where Steve Hislop went past David Jeffries. Colonial Corner, just slipped it right underneath him. Good move by Hislop, forcing Jeffries out wide. And Hislop well out in front of Jeffries. Into Detter's Corner, on to lap 12. Hislop leads, Farquhar's a back marker, Jeffries is second, and McGuinness is third. So Hislop seems to have things sewn up at the moment. All too easy for him. The real battle's happening between John McGuinness on the Vimto Honda and David Jeffries on the V&M machine. McGuinness squeezes right up in behind David Jeffries. Well, McGuinness certainly hasn't finished with Jeffries yet, no doubt about that. Farquhar may prove to be a thorn in the side here. Let's see how the two men deal with Brian Farquhar. Both easily past him. McGuinness goes to the outside. Well, right out onto the moss there was David Jeffries, and John McGuinness might just go past him. Oh, great racing, and an excellent move by John McGuinness. Well, McGuinness up to second place. Superb short circuit scratching here at Kirkeston. Well, that was brilliant from McGuinness. Used Ryan Farquhar, and Farquhar forced Jeffries right out onto the dirt there. Well, fourth place, a long, long, long way behind. David Jeffries up into second, is he? No, he's not. No, thank you. As John McGuinness closes the door. Steve Hislop way out in front. John McGuinness, bike number 24, is in second place. A good British Championship for him this season on the 250, remember. He won the British Championship. Has some good rides on this Vimto 500 machine. Awaiting a new bike from Honda. A super bike for next year to try and compete in the British Championship. He'll still ride in the 250 British Championship, and we'll do some testing for the Honda team as well. Well, that's Ryan Farquhar, bike number 77. He's the back marker. So Hislop it is who still leads this race. There's John McGuinness, he's in second place. Third is David Jeffries, he's gone through as well. Steve Hislop getting tangled in behind the back markers now too. Hislop, just look at the style of Steve Hislop. An excellent rider. On short circuits, on roads, wherever you put him, he can do the business. And a large crowd here at Kirkuson this afternoon. A lot of them here to see this man. Switched from Kawasaki to Yamaha this season and has really, really proved his worth. Hislop across the start-finish line, on to the last lap of this Sunflower International Trophy race. John McGuinness in second place. Well, he's opened up a big advantage now with David Jeffries, who wheelies across the start-finish line to the delight of the crowd. But it's this man who's thrilling the fans at Kirkeston this afternoon. Stevie Hislop on the Virgin R7 Yamaha. Beautiful machine it is as well. He'll notch up his second win of the afternoon and the prestigious Sunflower title. A former winner back in 1995, remember. This will be the second time he's won it. John McGuinness is challenging. He'll not close the gap though. So Steve Hislop down the back straight. John McGuinness will take second place. A good second place as well. But Steve Hislop round the hairpin for the very last time, followed by John McGuinness. Takes the applause of the crowd. Steve Hislop across the start-finish line, takes the checkered flag, and he wins the Sunflower International Trophy. John McGuinness is second, and David Jeffries is in third place.
So it's turning out to be quite a day for the Flying Scot, Steve Hislop. He takes the win, some 3 seconds in front of John McGuinness. David Jeffries was third, followed by 3 locals, Michael Swan, Adrian Archibald and Richard Britton. Steve, it took you about, what, 10 laps to sort it all out?
Yeah, it was a bit of a lottery with tyres, so I just, David and John, they chose wet fronts and I went for the intermediate. I just let David set the pace there, and near the end I just picked it up a little bit. I did think it would dry quicker, but I let him do the hard work.
Yeah, I was going to say, what were the conditions like?
Well, put it this way, I wouldn't like to end the season on my backside, so I just kept it cool.
After an indifferent summer, this is a nice end-of-season boost for you.
Very nice, you know. Rob had faith in me when I parted my ways with Kawasaki. He got on the phone and we put the whole thing together, and yeah, it's been so nice to come back in the team that I was so happy with last year. And the results are starting to come. Yeah,
and Rob McElnay is here. You employed this man. Good decision.
Yeah, it's a good choice, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, he's picked the team up for us, really. We've struggled this year. It's a brand new bike. Virgin came in really late and we've struggled to get the thing going. And Neil McKenzie's done a great job for us all year developing the bike. And, you know, Steve's come and joined us at the end and really give us a good strong finish to the season, and coming here and getting the first win for the Virgin bike for 99. Well done to him, and it's nice to be in Ireland doing it. It's great.
Can you remember what year was it you won?
I don't know. It's ages ago. I remember you looked not quite so grey, I think.
Delight in the Virgin Yamaha camp, and double success too for Kieran McGrory. He had a start-to-finish win in the second 600 race. He was out on his own. But there was a real ding-dong battle for second place. Adrian Archibald and Richard Britton in a thrilling dice.
Archibald with all the work to do to try and get a second place here. The top step of the podium belongs to Kieran McGrory. This little battle is all about honour and pride. It's the end of the motorcycling season, and Richard Britton, who has missed most of it through injury, wants to set himself up in great style for next season. And beating Adrian Archibald, the Regal 600cc champion, would be a great boost for him. But Archibald is most certainly not finished yet. There's one braking area left, and that's where it's all going to happen, down into the hairpin. Archibald and Britton together. Well, he couldn't be closer, Adrian Archibald. He's definitely going to try the move up the inside of Richard Britton. Archibald's late on the brakes. He's got him, surely. A great move by Archibald. Can he hold him round the hairpin? Yes, he can's the answer. Britton will keep trying all the way to the finishing line. McGrory it is who's already won the race. And Adrian Archibald, a brilliant second from Richard Britton. Well, one of the best scraps of the afternoon between these two local men. Who needs the big names from across the water, they say. It's Kieran McGrory who takes the race win.
They'll be smiling in Lisnaskea this evening. A double on the day then for Kieran McGrory, followed by Adrian Archibald and Richard Britton. And what a duel they had.
I really enjoyed that race. I had +5 with a lap to go, so I knew I was home safe and sound.
But you won it by a distance right from the start.
Well, that's right. Well, the first one I was a bit careful, you know, because of the rain. And this one I said I'd put my head down. They said that the wrong tyres on in the first one, so what did I say this time?
I just got tucked in behind Richard in the last lap there, and I had to go for it, and it worked.
Richard, how did you see it all?
Oh, I knew he was coming past in the last lap. I could feel the vibration of the slipstream. My ladders were going like this here, and I said, oh no, he's coming past. Just lost out, but happy enough with third.
A great afternoon of racing didn't stop there, even if some did choose a rather unconventional route at times in the second 125cc race. Local rider Darren Lindsay had a great battle with English raider Darren Barton, and this passing manoeuvre on the last lap coming up to the hairpin was enough to take the scalp of the British champion.
Lindsay leads as they come up to the line. Darren Barton is second. They're on the run down now to the line. Can Barton come back out of his slipstream? Up to the line they come, but it's going to be Darren Lindsay from Darren Barton, from Paul Robinson.
And Lindsay, well, he blew up something of a storm in celebration back in the pits.
The usual last lap manoeuvre, you know, at the hairpin, you know, but it worked out in my favour, you know. I held a tight line and I got it.
The Hillsborough Club meeting ended with Fat Man Hislop showing everyone a clean pair of wheels home. It had been quite an afternoon for him. Sadly, David Jeffrey's challenge ended with mechanical trouble. And that cleared the way for Hislop to cross the line to complete a treble at the Sunflower. The wheelies acknowledging the rider's delight at his clean sweep on the Virgin Yamaha, and the applause of the Kirkeston fans. He's only been with Yamaha a few months, and he's certainly given them and his Ulster fans something to shout about. Well, there's the champagne, and nobody deserves it more than Steve Hislop. Hope he stays away from us. Well, what a great day it's been for the man from Scotland. Yeah, he deserves a drink. Of course he does. And that's it from the Sunflower meeting for 1999. Man of the day, no doubt about that. Steve Hislop. He had a hat-trick here in 1995, and my goodness, the Flying Scot gave us an action replay today. He enjoyed his afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed our highlights. In the meantime, from all of us here at Kirkeston, it's goodbye.